In the picturesque town of Arashiyama, near Kyoto, lived a 10-year-old boy named Haruki. Haruki was a curious and imaginative child, often found exploring the bamboo groves and temples around his home. His room was filled with maps, books about samurai and ancient explorers, and trinkets from his small adventures. Haruki dreamed of going on a grand adventure, just like his great-grandfather, Hikaru, the brave, Tanaka, whose tales of far-off lands and hidden treasures were legendary in the family. One rainy afternoon, Haruki's curiosity got the better of him. He decided to explore the family's old storeroom, a place filled with forgotten relics. As Haruki rummaged through the clutter, he stumbled upon an old wooden chest. With a creak, he opened it to find a collection of his great-grandfather's belongings, a worn-out journal, an ornate compass, and, most intriguing of all, a yellowed map marked with kanji and symbols. With a bold red X, Haruki's heart raced as he studied the map. The markings were unfamiliar, but the promise of a hidden treasure ignited his imagination. That evening, he showed the map to his parents, hoping they would join him in the adventure. However, they dismissed it as a relic of the past and urged him to focus on his schoolwork. Disheartened but undeterred, Haruki decided to embark on the journey alone. Late that night, when the house was silent, Haruki packed his backpack. He filled it with essentials, a flashlight, a pocket knife, a water bottle, some rice balls, and the map. He also took his great-grandfather's journal, hoping it might contain clues. With a final glance at his sleeping family, Haruki slipped out of the house and into the cool night air. The adventure had begun. The map led Haruki to the edge of the Arashiyama bamboo grove, a place he loved but had never ventured deep into. The bamboo forest was dense and dark, with towering stalks that seemed to touch the sky. Every rustle and snap of a twig made Haruki's heart pound. Determined to stay on course, he followed the map, using his flashlight to navigate through the underbrush. As dawn broke, Haruki encountered his first challenge, a wide, flowing river that was not marked on the map. He scouted the banks for a way to cross and eventually found a series of stepping stones. Carefully, he made his way across, slipping once but catching himself just in time. On the other side, he was greeted by a curious tanuki, which watched him with wide, mischievous eyes before scampering away into the forest. As the day wore on, Haruki grew tired and hungry. He found a clearing and decided to rest. As he ate a rice ball, he noticed smoke rising from a nearby hill. Curious, he followed it and discovered a small camp. An old man with a kind face and a long, white beard sat by a fire, cooking a pot of miso soup. The old man introduced himself as Takumi, a traveler who had wandered the world for years. Takumi invited Haruki to join him, and over dinner, they shared stories. Haruki learned that Takumi had known his great-grandfather and had even accompanied him on a few adventures. Takumi provided valuable advice about the journey ahead, giving Haruki a small compass and telling him about the trials he might face. The next morning, Haruki bid Takumi farewell and continued on his journey. Following the map, he soon arrived at the base of a steep mountain. The path was treacherous, with loose rocks and narrow ledges. Haruki began the climb, determined to reach the top. Halfway up, a storm rolled in, bringing heavy rain and strong winds. Haruki struggled to maintain his footing, slipping and scraping his knee. For a moment, he considered turning back, but Takumi's words echoed in his mind. He found a small cave to take shelter in and waited out the storm, using the time to study the map and his great-grandfather's journal. When the storm passed, Haruki resumed his climb. With renewed determination, he navigated the mountain's challenges, using the compass to stay on course. Finally, after hours of arduous climbing, he reached the summit. Below him lay a hidden valley, untouched by time and brimming with vibrant cherry blossoms. Haruki descended into the valley, marveling at its beauty. The map led him to a grove of ancient cherry trees, their branches heavy with pink blossoms. As he stepped through, he found a small clearing with a stone pedestal at its center. On the pedestal lay a chest, covered in moss and vines. With trembling hands, Haruki opened the chest. Inside, he found not gold or jewels, but his great-grandfather's journal, filled with stories and sketches from his travels. There was also a letter addressed to Haruki, encouraging him to embrace his adventurous spirit and explore the world. Filled with a sense of accomplishment and wonder, Haruki began his journey back home. The return trip was smoother, as he now knew the way and had overcome his initial fears. Along the way, he reflected on his adventure, realizing how much he had grown. When Haruki finally reached home, it was early morning. He quietly snuck back into the house and returned the map and journal to their hiding place. His parents were none the wiser, but they noticed a change in Haruki. He seemed more confident and mature. In the days that followed, Haruki integrated the lessons from his adventure into his daily life. He shared some of his experiences with his best friend, hinting at the wonders he had seen but keeping the most magical details to himself. As he looked at the map one last time, Haruki knew that this was only the beginning of his adventures. The world was full of mysteries waiting to be discovered, and he was ready to explore them all. In the serene village of Yamanashi, nestled in the shadow of Mount Fuji, lived an 11-year-old girl named Yuki. Yuki was a bright and imaginative child, often captivated by the stories her grandmother told her about Japanese folklore and mythical creatures. Her grandmother, Obasan, was a gentle soul with a twinkle in her eye, always ready to share tales of kitsune, yokai, and the spirit world. Yuki's parents were busy farmers, often too preoccupied with their work to spend much time with her. This left Yuki feeling lonely and yearning for the magical adventures her grandmother spoke of. She dreamed of experiencing the world of spirits and mythical beings, hoping to find a place where she truly belonged. One rainy afternoon, while exploring the attic of their old house, Yuki discovered a dusty, ancient mirror hidden behind a stack of old boxes. The mirror was intricately designed, with an inscription in kanji around its frame. Yuki carefully cleaned the mirror and brought it to her grandmother. Obasan's eyes widened with recognition. She explained that the mirror had been in their family for generations and was said to have the power to transport the bearer to the spirit world. The inscription read, "Reveal the hidden realm, where spirits dwell and wonders abound." Despite Obasan's warnings about the dangers of the spirit world, Yuki's curiosity and longing for adventure were too strong to resist. Late that night, while the village slept, Yuki gathered a few essential items, a protective charm given to her by Obasan, a small lantern, and some rice balls. She stood before the mirror, her heart pounding with excitement and nerves. With a deep breath, she spoke the inscription aloud. The mirror's surface shimmered, and Yuki felt a strange sensation as she was pulled into the glass. Yuki found herself in a breathtaking landscape unlike anything she had ever seen. The sky was a vibrant tapestry of colors, and the ground beneath her feet was covered in lush, glowing moss. Floating islands drifted lazily in the air, and mythical creatures roamed freely. Yuki's eyes widened in awe as she took in the fantastical world around her. As she wandered, Yuki encountered a kitsune named Case. The fox spirit had a sleek, white coat and eyes that sparkled with mischief. Case, intrigued by Yuki's presence, offered to guide her through the spirit world. Yuki and Case's journey was filled with wonder and challenges. They crossed paths with various spirits and creatures, each encounter testing Yuki's courage and resourcefulness. At a wide, flowing river, they met a kappa who guarded the bridge. The kappa demanded a riddle be solved before allowing them to cross. With Case's help, Yuki cleverly answered the riddle, and the kappa let them pass. In a dense forest, they encountered tengu, bird-like spirits known for their tricks. The tengu tried to lead Yuki astray, but she used her grandmother's charm to protect herself, finding the correct path through the forest. Each challenge strengthened Yuki's resolve and deepened her bond with Case. As they ventured deeper into the spirit world, Yuki and Case heard whispers about a powerful yokai named Orokai, a fearsome dragon spirit causing imbalance and chaos. Determined to restore harmony, Yuki decided to confront Orokai. With Case by her side, she journeyed to Orochi's lair, a dark, foreboding cave at the base of a mountain. Inside the cave, Yuki and Case faced various traps and trials. The air was thick with tension, and Yuki's heart raced. At the cave's end, they found Orokai, a massive, serpentine dragon with glowing red eyes. In the ensuing battle, Yuki drew upon the strength and wisdom she had gained from her journey. Using her grandmother's charm, she managed to weaken Orokai and, with Case's help, finally subdued the dragon spirit, restoring balance to the spirit world. After defeating Orokai, Yuki discovered that the true treasure of the spirit world was not material wealth but the friendships she had formed and the lessons she had learned. The spirits, grateful for her bravery, blessed her, allowing her to visit the spirit world again in the future. Filled with a sense of accomplishment and wonder, Yuki began her journey back home. The return trip was smoother, as she now knew the way and had overcome her initial fears. Along the way, she reflected on her adventure, realizing how much she had grown. When Yuki finally reached home, it was early morning. She quietly snuck back into the house and returned the mirror to its hiding place. Her parents were none the wiser, but they noticed a change in Yuki. She seemed more confident and mature. In the days that followed, Yuki integrated the lessons from her adventure into her daily life. She shared her experiences with Obasan, who believed her and felt proud. Yuki's parents, noticing her newfound confidence, began to pay more attention to her, and the family grew closer. The story ends with Yuki looking at the mirror one last time, the light of future adventures sparkling in her eyes. She knew that the world, both human and spirit, was full of mysteries waiting to be discovered, and she was ready to explore them all.